To upgrade or to not upgrade? That is the question. Roll the intro, Brooksy. Hey Juicers, welcome back to Harley Throttle Juice, or if it's your very first time here, welcome aboard. Really appreciate you stopping by and checking our channel out. So as I said, to upgrade or to not upgrade, that's the question. So those of you who have followed any commentary that I've made recently, you may have picked up on the fact that I'm hinting at a potential new bike purchase. Not a done deal. Decision certainly has not been made, but I'm strongly considering it for a number of reasons. And today I just thought I'd take a run along the M1 and give you my thoughts, what's going through my mind at the moment, what I'm considering, why I'm considering it. And feel free to put your comments down below on what you think, whether I'm a dickhead for considering it or whether I should go for it, only live once, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, there's essentially, I'd say, 4 bikes that are in the mix at the moment. They being the 2022 CVO Street Glide, a 2021 CVO Street Glide, a 2022 Street Glide ST, and one that might shock you is a 2022 Softail Heritage Classic. You heard me right, not a touring frame. Hear me out. So, if money was no object, my preference would be the 2022 CVO Street Glide. I've said it before in a couple of recent videos, particularly the one where we were talking about whether Harley-Davidson should put 131 engines stock in their CVOs. And Rochelle and I were talking about all the added benefits of owning a CVO, irrespective of whether you actually want all of those extras or need them or whatever. The cold hard facts are that you do get all those. You pay a shitload of money for a CVO, but you do get a lot for the money. And of course, all of those extras include things like custom paint, custom tank design, including badges, tank console, a flush mounted cap, heated grips, vertical LED tail lights, central locking for both the pannier and the forks, panniers and the forks. The list goes on, right? We're all aware of that. I have fallen in love with the envious green fade colour in the 2022 CVO range. One of the sticking points is that they're retailing at just a touch over 58,000 Australian. Okay, so I love everything about the CVOs. I've always stopped short of saying that I've actually got a dream bike, but if there was such a thing as a dream bike for me, it would be a CVO Street Glide. So all of those extras, including a 117 cubic inch engine, so a whole lot of bang for your buck. I still think they're overpriced, but still a lot of value in those bikes. Also in the mix is the 2021 CVO Street Glide. I'm in love with I can never remember the full proper paint or name for the paint job, but the sunset fade colour in the CVO Street Glide, CVO 2021 CVO Street Glide. I actually think that it suits me more than the envious green fade, but at the moment, it's still in the mix, but I can't get past the fact that it's all chromed out. It's not blacked out. The engine is all chrome, and that would be monumentally difficult to clean each and every time that it needed to be cleaned. But you get all the bonuses and extras as per the 2022 CVO Street Glide. But depending on where you bought it from, you're likely to save $5,000 or $6,000 if you found one. And let's face it, there aren't too many, if any, CVOs out there that have a lot of Ks on them. So you're going to get one with very, very small amount of Ks, and I would save $5,000 or $6,000 on a new purchase by going back to the 2021. So that's in the mix. Also in the mix in terms of money, certainly, And if you were prepared to forego the LED, a lot of the LED extras and the heated grips and the central locking and whatnot, and the updated sound system, you could go, and the paint job, of course, you could go back to a Street Glide ST, which is dividing the Harley-Davidson community as we speak. But they're retailing at about $45,000 for the Street Glide ST. Of course, you can only get those in Vivid Black or Gunship Grey, but two beautiful colours. I obviously love the Vivid Black because the bike that I'm on now, my current bike, is Vivid Black. Mine being a 2020 Street Glide Special that I've owned. Well, I purchased it brand new in January 2020. So the ST, of course, has, you know, you've got your GPS and your infotainment sound system. You don't have heated grips. You don't have the central locking, and you don't have the LED vertical tail lights and custom stitch seating and whatnot. But you do have a 117 cubic inch motor. You do have the heavy breather. You don't have the stretched bags, but a lot of people will just shrug their shoulders and go, big deal, the same way they would shrug their shoulders if someone said to them, yeah, but you don't get the custom paint and all those other extras. And as we all know, the performance bagger scene is growing and growing exponentially. So it is a real thing at the moment. And when you consider the fact that the STs, or the Street Glide ST, are retailing at about $45,000, there's a default $7,000 or $8,000 saving on a 2021 CVO, and automatically a default $13,000 saving on a 2022 Street Glide CVO. So if you're willing to forego all of those other extras, and they might mean absolutely nothing to you, then the Street Glide ST might be the one for you at $45K. The other one, the curveball that I've thrown in, and it obviously is part of the mix and part of my consideration, is the Softail Heritage Classic. Now, of course, it's on a Softail frame. It'll be slightly smaller. There are a couple of things that I don't necessarily like about it. One being the tail light at the back. But having said that, it's pretty much the same as the one on the ST. I am definitely not a fan of the black leather panniers, the bags. They would serve a purpose, but I'm not sure I'm in love with the look of them. The screen, yeah, I could take it or leave it. But what I do like about it in comparison to the Road King screen is that the bottom half of the screen on the Softail Heritage Classic is blacked out. So I kind of like that. And the other thing is that it actually is fully detachable. So if you were going somewhere and there wasn't a lot of wind about that day, and or you just wanted to feel the breeze in your face and on your chest that day, well, you just detach the screen, and now you've got the big LED headlamp in the middle and the two running lamps beside it. And it's a beautiful retro look. And the 2022 Softail Heritage Classic actually comes with a blacked out engine bay. So that is a huge bonus as far as I'm concerned. The other huge bonus, and probably the biggest bonus, is that the 2022 Softail Heritage Classic retail at between 36 and 37,000 Australian dollars. So that doesn't mean it's the right bike, and I don't think that anyone should buy a bike just purely based on price, but it is a huge advantage and something definitely worth considering. A smaller frame, and I imagine I'd be a little less comfortable on the Softail Heritage Classic, but it's basically a Softail chassis that's built for touring as far as I'm concerned. I think you could easily tour across the country if you needed to on the Softail Heritage Classic, and you'd be saving a crap load of money at the same time. No, you don't get the infotainment system, but, you know, if you don't have an aversion to Bluetooth helmets like I do, well, then you just plug your phone into your Bluetooth helmet and listen to your music and your GPS through your helmet. It's no big deal. You don't need it. You know, put on some stock pipes. Oh, that's the other thing. You don't have the same configuration as you do with the Grand American Touring range, in that the pipes just stick down the right-hand side of the bike. So you have so many different pipe options for the Softail Heritage Classic. And if you're into your loud pipes, you can go to town if you had a bike like that and really experiment and cause a stir out in the community if you so desire. So the reason why I do touch on price, even though I would never buy a bike purely based on price, is that this 2020 Street Glide Special that I'm on now, that I called Lemmy, Vivid Black, purchased brand new in January of 2020, I did put a handful of mods on it before I even picked up the bike, one of which is the custom clockwork screen that you're looking at, Super Trap unfiltered header pipes, Reinhardt DBX 45 exhaust, a few different other, custom Harley-Davidson chiseled bars, as you can see, custom Harley-Davidson grips, hand grips. And since then, the only things that have been done since then have been the Derby cover, and last year I did the SNS 475 Stage 2 torque cam, which I think has made a huge difference. So, you know, just on engine displacement alone, it depends on who you are, where you ride, the type of riding you do, and ultimately I think the key question, and I think a lot of people may overlook this because a lot of things I see on YouTube are all about power, power, power. Well, my big question to myself and everybody is, how much is enough power for you? And when you reach that point where you're comfortable and you like the sound of the bike and the performance of the bike, then do you need to extend yourself beyond that? Are you that type of rider, or you just say, hey, I've reached the stage where I'm really comfortable with the performance and the sound of my bike, and that's more than enough power for me? You know, and that's where I'm at with this. So 114 cubic inch Street Glide Special with a Stage 2 torque cam and the headers and the pipes, as I said. But getting back to the price, one of the reasons why I'm considering it is, and again, I'm not making a purchase or a decision based on price, but when I traded in my 2018 Road King Special for this at the start of 2020, you know, you could argue that I should have kept hold of that bike a little bit longer because with the changeover and whatnot, there was still a lot of equity and residual left in my previous loan, and I've carried that over now onto the new loan of this. And despite the fact that I've had this bike for 2.25 years, I've still got a lot of time left before it's paid off. And when you've got a lot of residual and equity left in your current loan, well, if you upgrade the bike to a more expensive bike, irrespective of whatever that price is, well, then now you're throwing extra dollars on top of that loan. And, you know, it just, look, I can afford it. It's affordable, but it's a case of should I? And it's also a case of wants versus needs. But the other thing in the mix, you know, at the end of July this year, I turned 57. And I often joke with the guys at Central Coast Harley-Davidson, based on a rider's age, how many new or used, how many more bike purchases do you have in you before you say, well, that's enough? Not only does my body, will my body not be able to handle another bike which may be more powerful, but also you might be in a position in your personal life where, you know, the work structure has changed and you don't earn what you earned anymore. Or sadly, you might not be working anymore or whatever. So at some point, you've got to make that decision on what is going to be your final ride. And are you just going to ride off into the sunset, into retirement on that bike, whether it's 4 years old or 14 years old or 24 or 34 years old? So anyway, they are my thoughts. What do you guys think? I mean, are you having the same dilemma yourself, or have you previously had that dilemma? And if you did, which way did you go? Did you settle and stay with the bike that you're on currently because you just couldn't make up your mind and you didn't want to jump either way and possibly disappoint yourself? Or did you just throw caution to the wind and go for it? And if you went for it, what was that decision based on? Was it on money? Was it on your age? Was it on your riding style? Because the new bike you believe suits your riding style and where you ride more so than your current bike? Let me know. I'm really keen to hear your thoughts. And just what is your general mindset? Anyway, it's good to be back. After our short YouTube break. Hope you enjoyed the recent Mudgee video. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate all of your comments. We certainly do appreciate all of your wonderful support for our humble little channel, and we will catch you next time. Harley Throttle Juice. See you guys. Peace out.